Have you ever felt so alienated that you wish someone else could just get you through the day? Have you ever been so desperate to get that help that you'd release something evil upon the world? In 2018's Look Away, we take a look at the darker side of revenge. While I may give you my opinion on the film here, that's no substitute for experiencing it yourself. Links to the movie are in the description down below. We open up to an ultrasound imagery that shows twins in the womb, but the longer it plays, the more it looks like the twins are fighting each other. With the title screen as ominous as that, I can only imagine that this is going to be a good slow burner. We start off with Maria getting ready for another day at school. As she gets ready, we have a glimpse of her mother and father at the table. Is that Lucius Malfoy as her father? Well, she doesn't have a happy childhood. Sure enough, on her way to school, this girl lights a cigarette. Could she be any more of a troubled, privileged girl? As she walks down the halls of her school, she hears the haunting echo of everyone else laughing at her. Except no one is laughing at her. No one is even looking at her. After school, Maria's friend and her hang out at the hockey practice where they are smoking another cigarette. Is there no supervision in this town? After she returns home, she once again sits awkwardly at the dinner table with her family. After she blows up on her mother, who's only trying to help, she stomps off up a beautiful staircase. I mean, whoever designed this house is an artist for sure.
She has no friends.
You said it, Dad. Mom and Dad discuss the downfall of their daughter, which only prompts Maria to spiral even more. When she's in her room, she notices a piece of paper wedged into her mirror. When she takes it out, she realizes that it's an ultrasound picture of the twins from the beginning. Just a wild guess here, but foreshadow alert, and somehow we quickly just forget about that and jump to Maria in the bathroom having some alone time in front of the mirror, because that's everyone's go-to when their parents told them they were a screw-up. Well, if that isn't enough to keep you from doing that ever again, I don't know what will. Of course, after she crawls away from the mirror, she walks right back. Like a genius, she wipes away the fog from the mirror to show that her reflection isn't actually following her. This finally prompts her to run out of the bathroom. Finally!
Dad,
Hey, sweetie.
Dad, last night, I don't really know what to make of it, but I just wanted to ask you
Did you
something.
get any sleep?
Yeah, I mean, no, I didn't sleep well last
Oh,
night.
terrible.
Dad,
Oh, terrible.
Come the next morning, Maria actually attempts to open up to her dad about what happened the night before, but his response is far from heartwarming. Father of the year, everybody! And of course, she's back in front of the haunted mirror. The entire time she's in front of the mirror, her reflection is just the slightest bit off. It's just unsettling. When she leaves her house to go to the bus, one of the male students is waiting for her. It's almost as though there's some bad past between the two. Luckily, her friend pops up in her car and rescues her. That night, Maria finds herself in her bathroom again. As she sinks into the tub, she has a flashback of what seems to be her birth. All the while after, she hears a sinister voice calling her name. This girl legitimately goes back to the bathroom mirror, only this time she tries to question her reflection.
why am I seeing you? Because I'm here.
Well, that's just an unsettling simple answer. While this reflection gives an enticing offer, I'm not entirely sure that her vague responses are reassuring. It's only now that we find out that her name is Iram, and that should send up some backwards red flags as well. I mean, just think about it. We cut to breakfast yet again, and it's here that Maria's parents see the new and improved Maria for the first time. Later, her friends start to see a change in her as well, but the more Maria sees her friends make out with her boyfriend, the more she starts to think about Iram's offer. Next, we find out that Maria's dad is actually a plastic surgeon. It all makes sense now. On top of that, there seems to be something nefarious going on with one of his patients. That is surely adding to Maria's opinion of her father. After a chance encounter where Maria and her father run into her guy bully, Dad begins to understand that something may have happened between the two, and he gets suspicious of the bully. This encounter prompts Maria to talk to Iram again. At least we can tell that Maria wants to believe not everyone is out to get her. Iram, on the other hand, is ready to serve cold justice to everyone. The next day, Maria goes to her father's office where he surprises her with the gift of plastic surgery. Even the corrections he mentions are minuscule little changes, but it just goes to show who she's dealing with. Of course, this prompts Maria to tell Iram that she was right all along. After Maria's mom hears her talking to Iram through the bathroom door, she barges in and asks her who she's talking to. As she looks around, she realizes that there's no one there.
Are you smoking pot in here?
About this,
You're having a panic attack. Amy,
I'm not.
Amy,
I'm not.
stop. Breathe. Let me help you. She has problems.
And what is her first guess for an explanation? Safe guess, honestly. After her mother tries to explain the situation to her dad, he reacts by handing her prescription pills to calm her down. I honestly can't tell if he's doing the best he can or if this is just a crappy relationship all the way around. After a terrible day with her best friend, Maria comes to Iram yet again. This time, she tries to defend her best friend. It's here that we learn that Maria has actually repressed memories of all the times she's been let down. But Iram didn't forget. Iram offers to fix everything for Maria, and this time Maria is inclined to agree. As the two begin the transfer, we get interrupted by her mother at the door. Worst timing ever, just to give her a little tiara for the prom as well. Sure enough, Maria heads to her high school prom. The prom is on ice, literally an ice rink, so if you wanted to be a part of your own prom, you have to learn how to skate. That feels a little survival of the fittest, but okay. Well, if this isn't a trap to get her on the ice, then I don't know what is. But like a high school girl swept up in the possibility, she follows him out onto the ice. That's her best friend's boyfriend. Surprisingly, it isn't a trap, but she catches the eye of her best friend, which causes her to fall. She falls right into the guy that's been bullying her, and when he reaches down his hand to help her, she has a glimmer of hope. Well, think again. Of course, this is enough for her to call on Iram to do what she promised. That's one way to make a pact with an evil spirit, I guess. Now that Iram is on our side, she begins to investigate her surroundings. As she does so, Maria's mother is having a flashback dream to her pregnancy, and her father is having an interesting moment that I can't really describe. Here you go. Like I said, can't describe. The next morning, Maria's mother asks Iram how the prom went. Of course, Iram says it went well. Iram's attitude troubles her mother while she's still happy to see the changes. Not all the changes are welcome though. As she enters the school, her bully bids her good morning and reminds her of the escapades of the night before. Naturally, he gets shut down as Iram isn't taking his crap anymore. As she embarrasses him and walks away, she's approached by her best friend's boyfriend who's simply wanting to check in on her after the events of last night. This conversation is cut short after her best friend shows up. After she tries to apologize for going along with the bully's antics from the night before, Iram isn't taking it. I am loving Iram. Look at her. This is why we don't make deals with evil reflections when we're vulnerable. Iram makes her way into her dad's office where she begins to come onto him. WTF! This throws him for a loop, but he never actually catches on. After a quick little meeting, Iram makes her way to the secretary, who she sends away so she can call the woman that has been making moves on her dad. Awesomely enough, she even gets the secretary to get her mom to come in the same time she set the other woman up for. That's just cold, yet I want to know what happens next. Of course, we jump to a silent dinner though, only her father is not at the table for the first time. Iram does not give a single damn. Iram questions her mother about her father's whereabouts, but in the process, she tries to get her mother to admit that she knows what he's doing. In a moment of rage, her mother smacks her and Iram goes to talk to Maria. Maria is not happy with what's been going on, but Iram spins her words into a sense that makes Maria begin to follow along a little better. You can literally see Iram plot her revenge as she watches her best friend's every move. Of course, before the best friend, we encounter the bully at the ice rink. As he follows her into the locker room, he hears the showers running. Naturally, he heads in to try and find her, but even I cringed as his leg buckled, not messing with her anymore. Seconds later, we're in the car with her best friend. I love this part because it shows that the bad person here is actually doing some good. She's accomplishing what she promised and it's making our hero, or damsel in distress, depending on how you look at it, safe and happy for once. The two of them end up going ice skating, and after a competition happens, the two of them are in a high-speed ice skating chase. Technically, she didn't do anything wrong, I guess. Either way, this is not how I expected this to go down. Once the police leave after questioning, Maria begins to change her mind on what she wants from Iram. Yet Iram is having none of it. Iram defends her side by sticking to the defense that she never actually touched her. She's not wrong. After she points out that Maria can't lie to her, she points out that everything she's doing because Maria really wants her to. At the funeral, Maria has her eye on her deceased best friend's boyfriend, who follows her out into the snow. They exchange a hug, and Iram shows that she's not actually against what's happening at all. Later that night, she sneaks out of the house and meets up with him at his place. As they smoke some weed, he spills his heart out to her, but she has other plans. She is good. She breaks down to him that she would fantasize about being in her best friend's spot being with him. She comes on to him, and he is powerless to resist. Obviously, we can't have a goody two-shoes. As we hop over to Iram having dinner with her dad, he becomes uneasy. The way she's devouring that crab probably isn't helping. As a concerned father, he asks her how she's doing with the accident, and she turns it around to ask if he's coming home. This obviously doesn't go well, and she puts on a show of unladylike attitude. He quickly pulls his phone out and asks her what she sees. She doesn't like what she sees, and we can tell that she's got something planned for him farther down the road. The next day, Iram and her boyfriend leave school early to mess around, and as they go to her house, they encounter her mom drunk on the couch. This prompts her mom to try and point out that this isn't the best way to act, but Iram just tells her to go back to sleep before they go up to her room. The next day rolls around and they cut school again, only this time they go to a seedy hotel. They're in high school. Once they're in there, he gets a call from his mother that says the police want to talk to both of them. Well, if he wasn't on her list before, he sure is now. Well, that was fast. With her body count up to 2, I can only imagine that Maria isn't doing too well on her side. Sure enough, she's grieving uncontrollably when Iram goes to the bathroom. Later that night, Maria's mother has another flashback to her pregnancy, and we find out that one of her babies was deformed at birth. We find out that they let one of their babies die due to it, and she wakes up sobbing. Iram leaves the hotel and travels over to her father's office. She pretends to be drunk, and he helps her inside. Iram takes her clothes off after she spills water on them and presents herself to her father. He handles this shockingly well, at least at first. Until that, of course. This seems like a good time for some explaining. Or no explanation at all. That's cool too. As she stands over his dying body, she asks why he couldn't just love me. A question she'll never get the answer to. When Iram goes to the bathroom mirror to rinse off, she calls for Maria in the mirror, but she never answers. After she leaves, she looks at her reflection everywhere she can. It's almost like she hopes Maria will simply reappear so she isn't alone anymore, but that never happens. She walks all the way back to her home and makes her way into her mother's bed, where she cuddles up to her. After a whole journey of her being as hard as she can be, there's something comforting about her still cuddling up to her mother when she's feeling low. For a film that we all know didn't have a happy ending about 5 minutes after the film ends, that was a great way to give us that glimmer of yay. We all know she went to jail or a psychiatric hospital, but at least she had that moment of rest. I hope you enjoyed the video, and by all means watch the film for yourself. There's something there for everyone. If you did like it, leave a like on the video and suggest what I should watch next. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one, and I'll see you in the next video.